Hello, everyone. Welcome to the July 7th workshop meeting. I'd like to be advised that this meeting is being held in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231 PO 1978 Sunshine Law, and that the adequate notice of the date, time, and agenda has been sent to the Asbury Park Press, and the news transcript has been posted and filed with the Marlborough Township Clerk. Copies have also been sent to each district school and other area newspapers in accordance with the law. Take notice of the statement of the videotaping. I'm not going to read it all, and the public session statement. And no smoking on the grounds. And I'd like to pledge allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to announce that Tara Gostovich, DMD, is the district's Emerald Level sponsor for the 2014-15 school year, and as always, we thank her for her support. And going over the agenda, we're going to have a public session. We're going to have an interview of the candidate for the board member vacancy, and then we're going to add an executive session. We'll be breaking for about 15 minutes to discuss the candidate, and we'll be coming back into out of the executive session to start the meeting again. Financial and business operation matters, personnel matters, policy development, community relations, old business, news business, and a new public session. So I'd like to start the public. Yeah. Oh, I'm so sorry. We didn't call roll. I don't do this every day.
I don't do this.
Right, I don't know who's here.
I'm like,
Sorry, Cindy. I didn't even look up.
light speed.
You need to a little louder.
Okay, next time.
Sorry.
Mrs. Dean?
Here.
Mrs. Ennie?
Here.
Mrs. Cow is absent. Mrs. Lou Riddell?
Here.
Mr. Marshall?
Here.
Mrs. Matos?
Here.
Mrs. Rosenwald?
Here.
And Mr. Wodonski is away. Okay,
Now we go into public session.
now you can go
We'd
do
like
your
to
thing.
invite the public. Is there anybody from the public like to speak? Doesn't look like anybody. All right, we just go right into the interview. All right, we're going to interview our candidate for the board vacancy tonight, and our person we're interviewing is Mrs. Robin Wolf. So we'd like her to come up to the table.
You've got to make sure you use the mic. So you can pull it out, or you can,
Does this work?
that one.
Hey, Robin. We'd like to ask you first, welcome, and ask you if you could give us a little bit about yourself, a little background, and why you're interested in filling the seat for the Board of Ed.
Okay. My name's Robin Wolf. I've been living in Marlborough for the last 10 years. It'll be 10 years in August. I have a 10th grader at Marlborough High School, and my son will be entering Marlborough Middle School in September. He was at Dugan, and it was a fabulous experience, and I think it's an amazing school district, and I think it can only get better, and I think being on the board, it would be, I would be doing my due diligence for my child, my town, my community, and for the taxpayers in town. I think it's really important to get involved. And a lot of people complain, but I feel like if you can't complain and not do something about it. So I wanted this opportunity. Since I've moved to Marlborough, I've always thought about it, and I'm excited for the opportunity.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to open it up to the board. Any questions for Mrs. Wolf?
Just any issues time commitment wise? You know, I mean, you've kind of been coming fairly regularly to meetings, so you see what's involved, and depending on what committees you're appointed, do you have any time constraints that might?
I do work. I teach in Old Bridge.
Right.
But besides that, no, my kids are old enough. My husband's around a lot.
Well, most of us up here work too, so
Right.
that's not the issue. Okay, thank you.
Anything else? Yeah, sure.
Were you planning on running this coming November before
Yes.
this opportunity came?
I was. My papers are already in.
Okay. Thank you.
Wonderful. Anybody else? I know you ran before, and you did a write-in, and you almost got in. It was close. I appreciate that you've stayed, that you wanted to do it. I also read that you were really active with the MEF. Are you going to stay active with the MEF?
As much as
a
I
board
can,
member? Great.
depending on the time. But I'd like to because I think it's an amazing organization.
Great. Okay, anybody else? No? Okay. All right, we're going to break for a few minutes. We're going to go into executive session. We're going to walk out, go to Dr. Hibbs' office, and we'll be back in about 10, 15 minutes. So y'all can just stay seated.
Motion and second.
Okay, want a motion?
Closed session to discuss the candidate for the open seat.
Yes, I was going to get that. I get a motion to go into closed session, seconded by
To
Deb.
discuss the candidate for the open seat.
Yeah.
You're making the motion?
No, I asked for a motion. Debbie gave me the motion.
Oh, okay, I didn't hear Debbie, so.
Joanne seconded it.
Yeah.
Got it.
I think there is a second.
Yeah, Joanne seconded it.
Actually, vote. You can do a voice vote.
Yeah, I'm writing at the moment. I can only do one thing at a time. Mr. Marshall?
Yes.
Mrs. Rosenwald?
Yes.
Mrs. Dean?
Yes.
Mr. Annie?
That would be Mrs.
I mean, oh my God. Okay, I'm sorry, Mrs. Annie.
Let your hair
Yes.
down, Dara, that's why. Let your hair down.
Mrs. Lou Riddell?
Yes.
Mrs. Matos?
Yes.
I think that's everybody. Got it.
Okay. Dr.
Okay, we're going to run over Dr. Hibbs' office real quick. We'll be back.
You can fit.
I am so sorry.
This is what we're going to go talk about now?
Yeah, we're talking about you behind your back.
Okay, thanks.
I had one too.
Okay, everyone, we're back. I am going to have Cindy call roll.
You're getting practice here.
I know.
Mrs. Dean?
Here.
Mrs. Annie?
Here.
Mrs. Lou Riddell?
Here.
Mr. Marshall?
Here.
Mrs. Matos?
Here.
Mrs. Rosenwald?
I'm here.
Robin, we met, we talked. I'm going to have Mr. Zinnemer tell you a little bit about what we discussed and see what you think.
Good evening. The board wanted me to inform you, you might know this already, that because you're a teacher, you're an NJEA member, I presume, in another school district, the Ethics Commission has come down with some pretty strict interpretations of the School Ethics Act recently. And basically, now you would be conflicted from participating in any negotiations with the Marlboro Teachers Union, perhaps participating in any grievance hearings on a case-by-case basis if they have the ability to affect the NJEA as a whole. You might be conflicted from participating in those types of discussions as well. So the board just wanted me to let you know. There's other restrictions that are more nuanced that we can talk about as time progresses, but they just wanted me to make sure that you were aware of those prohibitions. And just to make sure that you're still interested in the open seat. Okay.
You are? Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Then, I'd like to make a motion, be it resolved, that the Marlboro Board of Education hereby appoints Robin Wolf to the vacancy on the board through the organization meeting in January 2016. Do I have a second? Dara? Discussion? Okay, Cindy. You can call roll.
Mrs. Lou Riddell?
Yes?
Mr. Marshall?
Yes.
Mrs. Matos?
Yes.
Mrs. Rosenwald?
Yes.
Mrs. Annie?
Yes.
And Mrs. Dean?
Yes.
Congratulations.
Ms. Barragu, do you want to just inform her about the swearing-in issue?
Yes. To make this all official in a nice little tiny package, I have to swear you in. So you will have to come to my office. So sometime this week, whenever you're available, just let me know. Okay. Or we can talk afterwards,
Yeah.
whenever. Okay, good, thanks. Great, thank you.
So once you're sworn in, that will be the official start of your duties as a
Got
board
it.
member.
Great,
Thanks.
thank you.
We wanted to get you sworn in this way. By the next meeting, you can get all the green notes, all the information,
Thank you.
and we can get started. So, okay. Ready to move on? Cindy's over. Okay. Moving on to financial and business matters. Debbie, can you please read?
Sure. Financial and business operations matters. The superintendent of schools submits the following resolution for approval. Number 1, award of bid 2015 paving improvements at various schools. I so move.
And a second? Craig Marshall. Any discussion? Bonnie has a question. Sure.
I'm sorry I didn't get in touch with you, but I was away. So just tell me, the bids are exactly the same, because I saw in the green notes, this came in so much lower than what you anticipated.
Yes, it is.
So the bid was exactly the same as what,
Yes, it was. Well, the township hadn't prepared the bids. They gave us the estimate in which our engineer did use that as the basis. So we did very, very well,
okay.
very well. And
I just
as
wanted
I
to-
noted, that we, because we've done so well, there is a couple more areas that we didn't include originally, but because we have a square footage amount, we are going to try and add some to this.
But using the same
Yes.
specs that were in the original
Yes.
bid?
Yep.
Okay.
So with the savings, you're going to try to, with the $200,000 plus savings, you're going to try to finish,
Do more.
do more
Absolutely.
stuff that's needed.
Yeah. The worst area that's
Yeah.
needed is over at Usher and Robertsville. That's a definite given on Menzel Lane.
And we have Thomas going through the other areas to rank order areas of need, right, Sen?
Yep.
Okay, thanks, Bonnie. Anybody else?
I'm just amazed at the disparity between the high and the low.
It's a lot.
You would think they were bidding on different projects.
I think what a lot of it has to do is that the first three are just coming off some big projects and they have crews. And they want to keep them busy, and this was a big enough job.
Less
to-
ramp up.
Yep. Keep them going.
Okay, all right, Sid.
Mrs. Rosenwald,
Yes.
Mrs. Dean,
Yes.
Mrs. Ennie,
Yes.
Mrs. Lou Riddell,
Yes.
Mr. Marshall,
Yes.
Mrs. Matos.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Okay, moving on to personnel matters. Dara, can you please read?
Personnel matters. The superintendent of schools submits the following resolutions for approval. 1, transfers. 2, location assignments. I so move.
Second. Debbie? Any discussion? Bonnie?
I'm very well aware of the fact that this is, again, goes under the purview of the superintendent. And
Come on,
I
move that microphone. There you go.
I didn't have a chance to speak to the superintendent. Again, I was away. So my concern is that we're moving VPs out of school that, and it doesn't matter who the VP is. It's just a school that a new principal's going in, and I just don't understand. Then you're having a brand new, a totally brand new force in that particular school.
Because this is personnel, it's appropriate for closed session. I don't know what your answer is going to be, so I'm kind of just being a little preemptive. If it involves the individuals, we'd have to raise them, obviously, and discuss it in closed. I don't know if it's a more generic.
Just a generic
Okay.
answer.
Generally without using names. Still appropriate, right, sir?
Well, even if you're not using names, everybody knows who you're talking
Yeah,
about.
'cause
That's
it's
not
right
going
here.
to, that's not going
Well,
to cut it.
I'm
So,
looking for more of a generic kind of an answer.
I don't know if
Why?
you can answer it generically.
I don't think-
But if you can't, then we're going to have to raise them, and we'll discuss it in closed at the next meeting.
The names are listed.
Yeah, I know.
Well, then then
Or you could talk offline is another option.
If I can't answer it generally, then I can't answer
We shouldn't
it.
talk about the individuals. That's the caveat. So if you
I
can do it
can-
without talking about
I
the
can do that.
individuals and who we're talking about and the.
I can do that.
Okay.
So the long and short is that at the end of 2 years, I had to sit down and come up with what I thought was the strongest administrative lineup. And even though there were some VPs that were moving buildings, that put us in what I think was the strongest lineup. So, people have been in buildings, and I felt that for the sake of new principals and of VPs, that there were some fresh starts that were needed. And that was
Okay.
the thought process. General enough? All right.
You okay?
it was my fault for not being able to, I was not able to call. So
No problem.
Anybody else? I just, on the same thing, I just want to say, I know we can't discuss them, but I trust you, that you
Thank you.
know what's best. In my opinion, how these schools are going to run, and you know what's best going to happen. So
Thank you
we're
very
going
much.
to stand behind you behind that, and I hope that it all
It will.
works out well, and the residents welcome the new faces
Absolutely.
in their buildings.
And they already have.
Wonderful.
That was my question. They know.
Yes,
Yeah.
the
So-
parents of these schools have been notified.
Well, of these, there is an email blast set to go tomorrow.
Tomorrow,
Yes, because
okay.
officially they weren't moved. So for principals that were new, they've already fully informed, 100%. These are all set, and school messenger blasts are ready to go for tomorrow, the 8th.
But the personnel already know.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Personnel already know.
I just want that
and
out there.
are-
The personnel
and
are very aware.
Yes, and
Okay.
they are moved in and hanging pictures and such.
Okay. Okay, Sid?
Mrs. Rosenwald?
I'm going to abstain from personnel altogether.
Mrs. Dean?
Yes.
Mrs. Lou Rudell?
Yes.
Mr. Marshall?
Yes.
Mrs. Matos?
Yes.
And Mrs. Ennie?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to policy development, communication, community relation matters. Joanne, can you read that?
You know, oh yeah, good. We'll go for discussion. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. Policy development and community relation matter. The superintendent of the school submit the following for consideration by the Board of Education. First reading, 9541. I shall move.
Second?
There's no
Debbie?
vote, it's a first reading.
Oh, that's
There's
right,
no
the first
vote.
reading, I'm sorry, excuse me. Okay, we'll open it, yep,
I'm sorry, what did you say?
it's just a first read. It's
a first
there's no
reading.
vote.
What do you mean there's no vote?
That's, I thought,
We don't vote on first readings.
We do.
yeah, I thought we did.
We vote on
No,
first
we
and
don't.
second readings.
Second readings, yes, first readings, no.
Don't we vote to move it to a second?
We should be voting on first and second readings.
Never did firsts, never.
Yeah, you should.
Okay.
Upon advice of council, you should be voting on first and second readings. So somebody should move this, second it, and going forward, we really should always, there should be a vote on both the first and second reading.
I guess we just agreed to move on.
We always.
Oh, really? You should actually vote on the policy on first reading, and then, yeah.
That's interesting, because we've never,
Oh,
like I
okay.
said, never
Yeah.
done it.
All right, so.
Before
Okay, so
before
we vote now.
before you vote,
Wait, we just, are we just vote
Okay,
after
wait
we
a second,
discussed it?
so.
Well,
We have to move, we have to motion.
somebody,
have to make
she
a
did,
motion.
she
Yeah,
did
that's what
both,
we did.
actually.
I
She
told-
made, she.
She made the motion, so who
And
did
then
it?
Debbie seconded it.
There is a
Sorry.
motion on the agenda. I mean, it says resolve that this.
Yeah, but there's no vote box.
Oh, okay. But yes, she already moved as far as I'm concerned, so did. I
She
think
did, and
somebody-
Debbie seconded, so
now we're in
I'll open it up for discussion,
Right,
but
exactly.
Dr. Hibbs was going to address some stuff.
I want to add. So if you look at the policy, it's the last bit on the first page, and it says field observers may serve only under the direction and supervision of an appropriately certified or licensed staff member and shall not be left alone with a student. It really makes sense to me to add not only just field observers, but you have to add in student teachers and field observers. I'm sorry, student teachers and interns there as well, because really they should always be operating under the auspices and supervision of a certified staff member. Now, the reality is that sometimes staff members may be in the room and staff members may not. My opinion is they should always be in there. If we're going to make it important enough to change this policy around so that everyone has to be background checked, it should be equally as important that not only is the certified staff member in the room, but then they should also be there not only for safety reasons, but also because they should be giving constant feedback to those three levels of soon-to-be teachers for growth. So I think that you shouldn't just leave it field observers. You should add in interns and student teachers as well. It's my 2 cents.
Okay.
You're now going to say that student teachers have to have teachers in the room all the time too?
I think they should be in the room, yeah.
But you are aware of the fact that there is a component in student teaching where they are to be left in the room according to the curriculum of the schools when they student teach.
I don't know what it says in the curriculum of the schools they teach.
We go by
But
our
it wouldn't
curriculum,
necessarily
right?
say they have to be there alone, right? I mean,
Part of-
Even if it does, I don't.
Left
I don't
Yeah, but do we
As
have
far
to
as
abide by
teaching, I
their
would
curriculum
assume.
of that college? What about our?
to me, the whole point of being a student
You have to
teacher
abide to that.
is you should be getting constant feedback. So what's going to happen is it's a gradual release of responsibility. So you're going to have you're going to observe. You're going to see the regular classroom teacher in action. Then you're going to take over a subject at a time until you have everything. Then you're going to give everything back. But that whole way, you should be getting feedback for growth.
When I did my student teaching, the teacher was in the room every minute.
He's adding it in.
The teacher never left the room.
That's where I wrote it. He wants to add that in.
oh, I see.
He wants
Got
to
it.
add that in.
That's your handwriting.
That's my handwriting.
Yeah, that's fine with me, I'm just asking you.
Yep, gotcha.
That, I don't care.
Anybody else? Any other questions?
Minor typo, or do we not?
Sure, bring it up.
Well, I know that it was sent to the committee, correct?
Yes.
And all the committee, policy
Yes.
committee people looked at it,
Yep.
correct? It was, you got it?
Yep, I think there was
I
feedback.
got it in the
Sir,
green
typo.
notes. I didn't get it as part of the committee.
She sent it as part of the committee. Liz sent it because she sent it to
was an
I
email.
didn't get it
Sarah,
as,
Debbie.
I didn't get it.
You were on the
on the-
distribution.
You were on the email
And it
list.
went into my spam.
Because they sent an email on July 1st. It was sent to the committee.
All right, because it went into my spam.
Yeah.
And then they were able to send back their suggestions
I
of
didn't get
corrections.
it. It went into my spam.
I got the email.
If it's on the board email, wouldn't it, does it go into spam if it's on the board email?
Sometimes it does.
Interesting.
From the board, from our board,
It sometimes
To
does.
our board member?
It has happened before.
should look into that.
I'm sorry, Eric, you added student teachers and
Interns.
Title of it be?
You're adding.
Teachers, interns, and
Yep.
field observers.
It should just be the same thing as above.
got it.
So I take a vote.
Yes.
Wait, there should be a space between, on the, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4,
The
5,
end.
6, 7th paragraph that starts with student teacher / intern. Third line down, principal and,
And.
you just need a space in there between principal and.
Yeah, she's there.
That we can correct that. No big deal.
Yeah, no,
Yep.
Yeah, I just also recommend that the resolution, that the word submitted in the resolution be changed to approved. So it'll say, be it resolved that the following be approved for first reading before the Board of Education.
Got it.
you mean on the agenda?
Yes.
And that's the way we're going to do it moving forward.
Yep, I think we should.
Very well. No more discussion, Cindy?
Mrs. Dean,
Yes.
Mrs. Ennie,
Yes.
Mr. Marshall,
Yes.
Mrs. Rosenwald,
No.
Mrs. Matos,
Yes.
and Mrs. Lou Riddell.
Yes. Okay. All right, next we have old business. Anybody with old business? Okay, new business. And we're going to, okay, public session, second public session. Anybody from the public like to speak about any agenda, anything? Name and
Michael Messinger, Gerard Street. I just wanted to say that I've known Robin Wolf and her husband for quite some time, and out of all the people in Marlboro that I've come across, you and Rob are two of the nicest, most genuine people in this town. So I think you guys made a great decision tonight wanting her to be on this board, because I think it is so good for the town and so good for the kids. So it was a very good job tonight.
Thank you.
Sweet.
Can you sign in, please? Thank you.
That was sweet.
Okay, we're going to move into executive session. Be it resolved that in accordance with the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act, the Marlboro Township Board of Ed shall conduct a closed executive session pursuant to the personnel and legal exceptions prescribed by NJSA 10-4-12 for the purpose of discussing negotiations tonight. And it's anticipated, what, Cindy? Half hour?
Not even.
Yeah, that's good.
Half hour.
Negotiation.
And we will not be,
Is that, oh, we're talking about what you did?
Mark, we're not coming back into when we're done.
Any action being taken? Any action being
No,
taken
no,
tonight?
no action
will be
being-
taken.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
We should just tell the public which group it is.
What,
The security monitors.
security monitors,
monitor
we're discussing security monitors negotiations. I asked Cindy, she just said negotiations, but security monitors negotiations tonight. So, okay. All right, I'll take a motion to Debbie, second by all. Or, thanks, Greg.
Everyone say.
Everybody?
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, everyone, for coming out.